It's the weekend. The weekend in Brainerd Lakes area. That's the times that we stay home and do chores on the weekends. It gets pretty busy this time of year. Here on out on the weekends it gets pretty busy. So yeah, I got, a lot of stuff to do. I'm still working on this area out here by the road in front of the house, clearing it. I took out 3 stumps in the last video that I did this. And I have more to go. There's one small one there. That should be easy. Oh, there was a couple in here. Here's one. There's one. Bunch of, oh, there's another one. There's smaller ones. I'll get the backhoe out, get those out of here today. I want to get a little bit more done on my welding project. Got to do some gardening. Yeah. Little bit at a time. Little bit at a time. So I hope this video finds you all doing well. And I hope despite the goings on that, ooh, there's a bigger one. That you're all getting prepared and can have a good time at the same time, in between preparedness. These are expensive times, no doubt about that. Let's get the tractor out. 70% of this was above ground. So yeah, progress, making progress. In the old days, not that long ago, the old days, a couple years ago even maybe, I would have dug every single one of these stumps out with this thing. Every one of them. This tool, I can't even remember the name of it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This thing will dig up anything. It's incredible.
Here's my seedlings I've started. My peppers didn't do well. They were pretty old seeds, so I started some more. Some onions. Didn't grow as many tomatoes as I usually do because we don't eat as many. And 99% of the time I just make juice and or freeze and some marinara sauce and what have you. And what I'm going to plant in these, the empty ones are pumpkins and squashes, so I got to get that done before it gets too late. But overall, the seedlings did well. Again, I didn't plant as much as I usually do. I did buy a sage and a fennel. Couldn't help myself because then I said, well, now I don't have to start them. I transplanted a hydrangea, and hopefully it'll take. It was a pretty difficult transplant. I really had to tear it apart to get out of the ground. If it doesn't, I've had it for years, but it was in an area, it wasn't getting enough sun. It was crowding out some other bushes, so we'll see what happens. My yarrow's gotten out of control. I didn't deadhead it last year, so I'm gonna have to dig a lot of that up. It's the white yarrow, has a lot of medicinal properties. Here, I put a bunch of that straw down that you saw Jesse and I get off of the septic tank, hoping to keep the weeds down. I'm really motivated this year. Last year we had a lot of disruptions, good disruptions, but nonetheless disruptions. So my garden's really just weeded out. So I'm paying the price this year. So I'm really trying my best to keep them under control again. But anyway, hopefully that straw will help. It should. It will grow some weeds because straw well, but overall it will suppress the majority of the weeds I don't want. This area here, I'm going to keep fallow this year, maybe even next. I'm going to put my compost or the manure that's in the chicken coop, and there's not really that much. It's a little bit of chicken and a little bit of turkey poop. I'm going to put that here, kind of reinvigorate this soil. This apple tree, we'll see what happens this year. It's a Honeycrisp. It had an accident a couple years ago. A big old limb fell off of it in a bad storm, and ever since then it hasn't done well. But we'll keep an eye on it. See, we got some fruit from it last year. These wild native plums, they always do well. In fact, I trimmed them back real hard last year because they would just get too many plums. And unbeknownst to me, I guess because they're wild or native plums, they tend to sucker. So don't plant them in your garden. The reason I plant most of everything in here, we get all the animals, the deer. In fact, there's deer poop right outside that gate. And they actually tore down one of my other gates in the garden because I leave the fence open. And they had to get out, went right over the fence and made the fence bend over. That's easy fix though. So anyway, this area is going to be pretty fallow this year because anytime you have chicken or turkey, poultry poop, you want to make sure if it's not in a hot pile 2 years before you can really plant to avoid salmonella. Everything looks like it's starting to bud out. These are choke berries. They give a lot of fruit. They are edible. People think they're not, but people make wine out of them. We make fruits. You put them in your smoothies. They're very astringent. So that's why they call it, I guess, choke berries. There's also a choke cherry type of thing. The cherry ones actually have pits. These do not, so they're nice to handle. You don't have to pit them. I finally got around to getting my Sonic mole chaser and gopher chaser away. So if you hear a beep, that's what it is. Luckily, they haven't come into the garden this year. Last year, I don't know if you can tell, way over there in the corner, all that white sand that's up, tanny sand, that's all the mole holes that were here. They were just everywhere in this garden last year. But the onions look like they really are enjoying the soil, the heat, and I put straw around them too because they are hard to weed around. They really are. I pretty much got 3/4 of this garden ready. I still got a long way to go because the weeds, like I said, just took over the garden. And that's okay, it happens. I just don't like it. They compete with the plants, and just if they throw their seeds, it takes years to get rid of them. This area here last year, there's a couple remnants, but I had leeks here last year. I'm gonna plant some potatoes here. And normally what I do is I plant them about 4 to 5 inches deep and then put a bunch of straw on them. But this year I think I'm gonna just hill them. And I've never really done that. They're easier to pick. Elderberries are coming back. Gooseberry always comes back. I was gonna pull this plant up, then I decided against it. It's early fruit, they're the green variety. They're rather small, but I trimmed this up again last year, but it's just really going to town. Red currants right here coming back. These are about 4 or 5 years old. This one always does really well. June berries are budding out. This garlic here, woo, the wind. It's coming up. You can see some of the plants coming up through the straw. And I didn't plant as much as I usually do because, you know, garlic, you know, it goes a long way. You don't need that much. You normally plant hundreds and hundreds of bulbs. The one I planted, they're very large bulbs. You get really nice 4 or 5 cloves instead of all those center ones like you do the California ones that are basically useless. And the German purple stripe is the variety. More June berries here. This area I haven't touched yet. Still got to get over here. This is pretty much the last area that I need to aggressively get into. Just kind of hot right now. I don't want to get sunburned. I haven't had a lot of sun yet, so I'm got to build up that tan. But once it gets cooler out, I'll get back in here because it's going to rain next week quite a bit. And I want to get it done before the rain because I need to start tackling those other gardens. We got the 3. And this is the big, well, maybe not the biggest one, seems like it. But, you know, we just, one garden at a time. That way I feel satisfied. Once the weeds are under control, just come in here about 30 minutes, maybe an hour a day, keep them at bay and just grow stuff.
Senior life. This is my senior life. 65 years old. I'm on Medicare. Oh, I mentioned that in previous videos, didn't I? But here I am. I'm still doing everything I did prior to being a senior, and maybe even a little bit more, it seems. I guess when you're older, it always seems that way, but I've sort of made a pact with myself that I'm going to continue to do what I always did, no matter what, as long as I can. And now that I'm a senior, I can criticize other seniors because that was the cutoff there. You couldn't criticize seniors until you became a senior. Now, I promise you, and I made a huge promise to myself, that I will never, ever become one of them senior citizens, one of them yelling and screaming, "Get off my lawn," seniors. Those older people that are always shaking their fist at God, always yelling at people and saying things because they know the other person, let's just say, isn't going to fight back. The other person isn't going to say anything. They're just going to poo-poo it like, he's an old fool. Probably has dementia, Alzheimer's, and maybe he does, or she. But there is basically, what I've seen in my lifetime, two types of seniors. The older people. They're the ones that you really enjoy being around because they're so filled with wisdom. They're just so smart, and they tell stories that are actually believable. You can actually picture them doing that or see them doing that. And then there's the others that are just boisterous and loud and never really accomplished anything in their life but make up a bunch of fairy tales and lies and things that it doesn't take a real stretch to know that they're putting you on. But, they say it in a fashion that they think you should believe it. I guess, I don't know. I think I don't want to be that person to sit around a crowd and talk about my ailments, my aches, my pains, and a life that a lot of people outside of family just don't care about. Unless you were a general or did something really, really significant in your life, rock star, folk star, Hollywood celebrity, something like that, Let's just face it, people don't really care that you just lived a normal life and did normal things and had a normal job and did a normal retirement. And of course, outside of family and a few close friends, nobody's gonna even remember that or even care. And I think therein lies the problem with the angry, get off my lawn seniors, that they didn't like just leading a normal life outside of the ordinary. They want you to believe that they were extraordinary or extra above the fold. And it's come on, folks. It's a stretch. It's a stretch when somebody is over the top, braggadocious, narcissistic, and what I call them? I call them a drive-by yeller, a drive-by provocateur, because a lot of times when they yell or they get angry with you for some ill-gotten reason that they're trying to play the alpha male or female, the alpha male or female, mostly the alpha male. They will do a yeller or a scream at you for usually something that's pretty stupid, and then they'll run away. They'll leave. They'll leave the room. They'll hang up the phone, or they'll walk and get in their car and drive rapidly. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. So yeah, I'm working here, getting this thing that won't be remembered done. On my property, won't add any value to it, but it's nice for me to look at, and it's easier for me to maintain. And so this is not something that I will ever brag about, and nor has my life been anything that I will ever brag about, because I'm at the age right now where you get a real sense of mortality, a real sense that, hey, you know what, I'm on the backside. And so going through the motions is no longer a thing. You live every day to the fullest extent that you can live it under the circumstances and place that you live. What was it that Hollywood star, what's his name, Morgan Freeman said, or he said it in a motion picture, or somebody wrote it for him, but he said it nonetheless. He said, get busy living or get busy dying, So I'm just going to get busy living and just do these little things every single day. I try to accomplish something, and keep to myself, not being an over the top, angry, get off my lawn type of senior. And I hope that people would kind of step back when they get up there in age and just think about what it is that they're saying, and look at the people they're saying it to, and look at the response they have, and you'll be able to tell rather quickly, I think, if you actually pay attention, where they give a two craps of what you're saying or not. This I can tell you. All right, that's all I can do. I almost finished it too. Almost got it all done. I went all the way, almost to the wagon there. So yeah, I got about another half day's work. But we didn't get really, well, we got two pretty good sized stumps up. Most of it was small stumps or shrubbery that we got up. But I'm thinking I might be able to get a lawnmower in here now. Not have to worry about destroying the blades. It's about 4.5 hours work, I guess I did today. Yeah, we did make a really good impact. Now that I look at it, I did better than I thought. Okay, so yeah, we got about another half a day's work. When I say shrubs and things like that, this is kind of like what I'm talking about. We have these roots that stick up here. I gotta get out. And these things like this, sticking up all over the place. So we got all of those out up to this point, up to this tree line right here. All the way up there. And now we only have this far to go. Which is awesome. This will be the first year I'll be able to run my lawnmower through here. And that'll be a beautiful thing, because usually it's weed whip the whole thing, or I have a portable brush cutter that I've been just letting the weeds and shrubbery grow in through here, and then over a period of a month or two, I would bring the portable brush cutter out and then brush cut it all. Like, we do what we must. It looks like crap until you do it, but now I won't have to do it. So I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless.